my association with the subject for quite some time. No, but I have been working in northeastern region for quite some time. I worked in northeastern region for around uh, 18 years, 18 long years, which is more vulnerable to disaster than any other parts of the country. We have more floods. We have been, seeing Brahmaputra flood or Barak Valley flood every alternative year in Assam. Plus, because we are located in the difficult terrain, region, hilly areas. Apart from floods, we have landslides and other. Then most of the important disaster that was is terrorism for quite some time. So, as a young professional, when I was working at NIT Silchar somewhere in 2004-5, there was a huge flood in Assam, which affected both the northeastern region as a whole, plus Assam, and particular to my place where I was located in Silchar very much. So it was almost a flood was for almost a month. It's prolonged for a month, and we found that this district public library came as a help because people from riverside areas they all shifted to public library, and being a part of the public library committee over there, so I had a responsibility of looking into those things. So my association with the subject disaster or disaster management is almost now 20-25 years old. So by the time I had little experience with the kind of disaster and how libraries are responding, I borrowed a small article, and I got a travel background that point of time in 2006 to visit Cambridge, Harvard University and MIT, and at LISA conference. So it's all started with that. So what I'll be talking about today to all of you is about something, my practical experience, how I understand the subject. I may not be 100% correct, but this is what a life, personal experience of a practicing librarian. Let us today. I was just looking into today's newspaper. You can look into the screen. You will find that today in that Times of India newspaper, you will find there are advisory from government of West Bengal. Similarly, there is advisory from government of Odisha regarding the upcoming cyclone Amphan. So we have not recovered from the COVID disaster. Another disaster is waiting for us. It is going to fall on 20th. So my presentation is coinciding this disaster. So disaster is in waiting, and disaster that is continuing. In I've just taken the photographs from today's newspaper early morning. You can see the COVID, how people are forced to migrate from one place to another place, having suffering a lot more things in all the way. So disasters, both man-made and natural, have affected the mankind since memorial. And libraries are not immune to that. You can find the photographs with the last disaster that happened in Maharashtra, the flood, how the libraries have been affected in that. If you look into some of the recent disasters in India, you will find in 2001, Gujarat earthquake was a major one. Then earthquake in tsunami 2004 in Indian Ocean Peninsula. Then floods in Mumbai in 2005, then terrorist attack in 2008, and until recently the Uttarakhand flash flood in 2018, cyclone Fani in Odisha in 2019, and of course the COVID 2020, COVID-19 in the recent timings, and the list goes on. And as I have shown in the first slide, that still disasters are waiting for us. If you take the India and its disaster areas, how India is being affected by that, over 60% of the land areas are vulnerable to earthquake. Around 70% of the land under cultivation prone to drought. around 5% land, that is 40 million hectares, are prone to floods. 8% of the land, that is 8,000-kilometer coastal line, is prone to cyclone. A major disaster occurs in India every 2 to 3 years. Then 50 million people are affected annually in India. 1 million houses are damaged annually, along with human, social, and other losses. During 1985 to 2003, the annual average damage to the natural disaster has been estimated of 70 million US dollars. So this is a huge loss to the country. If you see the different forms of disasters, some are predictable in advance, some are annual or seasonal, some are sudden or unprecedented. If you take floods, it may prolong for days to weeks. If you take earthquakes, it may prolong for seconds to few minutes. If you take cyclones, it may take 1 2 days or maybe for 3 to 4 days. If you talk about droughts, it may take months. Now the new pandemic, that may live for another 1 or 2 year, God knows only. Then on this background, when we are talking about disaster, what do you mean by disaster? Disaster is a occurrence with little or no warning, with little or just 1 minute, so that no, I can see the, okay, fine. Um, which causes or threatens the serious disruption to our life and requires therefore a mobilization effort in excess of that normally provided by a statutory emergency services, or even by the government or by other people. In short, disaster brings with serious disruption in functioning of both human or material or environmental losses, which cannot be coped up by the individual conscience of his own resources. So we need external help in that. And if you talk about disaster, there are different kinds of disasters. Some are natural disasters, some are man-made disasters, and there are some other disasters. Like if you talk about natural disasters, there are some major natural disaster, and there are some minor disaster. In major disasters, we have earthquake, flood, drought, cyclone. If you talk about minor natural disasters, we have heat wave, cold wave that we see in southern, northern and southern part of India, cold wave in northern part of India, heat wave both in central and southern part of India. Landslides, of course, in Himalayan terrain in northeastern region, avalanches in Himalayan region, then tornadoes specifically in the coastal regions. Then when we talk about man-made disasters, we have communal riots, terrorism, refugees, problems, war, mismanagement, and economic scandals, and so on. So mismanagement can be one of the recent examples. You can find how the daily wage laborers are forced to travel thousands kilometers with their kids in the bags. So that is what disturbs us in the that way. This could have been managed in a proper way. Then about other disasters, there are some of the major disasters are there, like epidemics like COVID-19. Then we have no individual accidents, car, no train accidents, then fire, crop failure, then policy conflicts, then minor disasters like liquor tragedy or transport accidents or technical disasters or festival related stampedes, or even kind of in the library scenario, if you look into that, the system failure or system breakdowns. Then if you look into the different phases of the disaster, we have pre-impact phase. Pre-impact phase is just before the disaster happens. The moments that comes under pre-impact phase. Then impact phase, when the disaster is going on, just like in COVID, the disaster is going on right now. So this is the impact phase. Then post-impact phase, once the disaster is over, we have to take those recovery measures. Uh, on this background, as I have already discussed, that disaster management includes both planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, reporting, and budgeting functions before the disaster attacks, and rescue, relief, and rehabilitation work after the disaster attacks. It also needs a proper leadership. You see, in the context of COVID-19, if you look into the world, you will find several countries have performed very well. You take Taiwan or South Korea, or to extent some other countries. But you see some of the countries like Spain or Italy, or even coming to America, they have failed miserably. Because in America, some people are telling it is a lack of proper leadership. In India, if you look into the kind of the death rolls, or the kind of serious action that we took during that the time of things, the Prime Minister Modi's leadership played a major role. So during the disaster time, or for managing that disaster, it needs a proper leadership. You require information technology, both for forecasting, then before the disaster, during that disaster for communications, and after that disaster, helping the people. Information technology, research and development, time management, responsibility management, risk management, performance management, strategic management, financial management, communication management, and to some extent, from the library point of view, information and knowledge management. Then coming to the different steps in the disaster management. Of course, there are four major steps in the disaster management. One is preparedness. That is primarily the activities prior to a disaster. But that includes preparedness plans, emergency exercises, training, mock drills, planning systems, and so on. Then response means during the disaster, when the disaster is happening, activities during a disaster. The examples are public warning systems, emergency operations like evacuating people, taking them to the hospital. If it's like a kind of earthquake, finding out people below the debris. So that is specifically search and rescue operations. Then when we talk about the discovery phase, the activities includes following it, that is following a disaster, is temporary housing, claims processing, those who are having no insurance, so that need to be no given at the right point of time, providing people with grants, relief materials, then long-term medical care, and people need counseling, because the disaster takes out both, not monetarily, there are the human losses are there, so which people don't cope up with very easily, so they require counseling for that purpose. Then we have mitigation activities that reduce the effect of disaster. So that includes like for if you are in a earthquake zone, you have to follow the building codes. When if you are building a new building, so you have to follow the earthquake norms, that codes, which will in the future longer term, if there is a disaster, it can sustain to the disaster. Then also you need public education in the longer term, so that people are aware of disasters. Then if you're talking about we have talked about disaster management, then why this is important to us? disaster management is important to us. If you don't want to see these kind of things happens, migrant laborers, a lady, pulling out his, exhausted son who's, lying on his bag. So these are very disturbing pictures that is coming from different parts of India. If you see the upper one photographs, no, but it's in the photograph of Manipur Central Secretariat Library, Central Library in 2005, when no militant groups no bombed that library. There was no proper fire alarm systems. There was no fire alarming systems installed in the library. So that led to a major damage to the library that could have been avoided. The loss could have been minimized. So we have learned from the recent disasters that lack of disaster preparedness in all levels. Yeah. Lack of mitigation planning, lack of communication, networking, and dissemination of information among various stakeholders. Because of these things, delayed the response due to mismanagement, relief, manpower, and duty delegations. The lack of interface and coordination within the state, district administration, and community leads to a huge loss of life and property. So we have learned from this, recent past disasters. That's why disaster management has become an important subject for all of us.
I think
directions for directions for
there is some issue, I think slow connectivity at his end. Dr. Kishore, can you hear us? I request Mr. Beladulka to please switch off the video. Thank you. Because all these problems create, just a minute. Hello.
Everyone, kindly bear with us. We are trying to connect to Dr. Satpathy so that we can know how to proceed from here on. There seems to be some connectivity issues on his end. Thank you. In the meantime, I would request all of you, please don't send your email addresses or your affiliations. We don't need them in the chat.
Sorry, ma'am. Actually, I'm in West Bengal, so because we got an office order that office has to be open, and we opened the office, so we have an issue over here, union and all those things. I don't want to go into that. So that people came to close down the office. So that's why there was a halagula outside the office, and this is a part of life. This is a kind of human-made disaster for
No
us.
issues.
I have
No
to go through every
issues.
alternative
No
way.
issues, Dr. Kishore.
So I'm sorry for that, but
No
because I
issues.
came to the office, so because we had an office order to open up the office, but though it was a red zone, so we will take care of that. So that's why the people from Union, which is very prevalent in the West Bengal only, may not be in other educational institutions, so they take up the issues of the staffs very critically.
So would you like
So that's why they had come with shouting to my office to,
would
and
you
they will be
be
going to director's office and all those things. Yeah,
would you be able to continue now?
yeah. Now I
Okay.
have told them we'll be taking care of that
Okay. Okay.
after this over. So.
Right.
Coming to the point, when I was talking about that, no, we have learned no lessons from the past, disasters. There have been something, no changes in the mindset of both at the government level, at the individual level towards disaster and disaster management. There has been a paradigm shift from relief and recovery to vulnerability management. Then introducing a culture of preparedness at all levels, strengthening the decentralizing response in the capacity building in the country, empowerment of vulnerable groups and providing them livelihoods. Learning, all these learnings are from the past disasters. Therefore, in the government of India level, we have a National Disaster Management Authority, NDMA, has been set up as an apex body for the disaster management in India, with the Prime Minister as its chairman. The headquarters is being at Delhi. Then it is percolated to the state and district level. So we have state disaster management authority. Then we have district level disaster management authority. Now to some extent at the village level disaster management authority. Having said that, in the background about disaster management in general, now coming to our point of discussion that libraries are not free from disaster. Disaster that affects libraries are fire, earthquake, cyclone, tsunami, system background, breakdown, that is computer breakdown, or it can be a war which affects the library. If you look into the Iraq war or Afghanistan war, you will find the national library has been completely destroyed in that terms. Then mostly we are prone to water, maybe leakage, because lot of library buildings are not being maintained properly, or there is a leakage, or there is a heavy rain which is lead to flooding, or poor storage or environmental conditions which lead to mold growth in specifically in the library, and in a smaller terms inadequate security which lead down to theft of books or poorly maintained things, or specifically you see the recent pandemics where the library services has been badly affected. Those institutions which has large IT infrastructure where they can provide the resources or provide services to the users through online mode, but several public libraries or school libraries or college library could not provide those kind of services. Then, if you talk about elements in a library disaster, these are the four or five important points which are important. That the safety and security of the people. Uh, you can you just heard people shouting about their safety and security. The building, that transaction records for business continuity, like if there is a computer shutdown and you don't have any transaction record, you don't maintain a physical one, if there is a huge loss for the library. Then in terms of collections, then in terms of library services.
Dr. Kishore, just a minute.
Yeah,
डॉक्टर किशोर जस्ट
yeah.
मिनट मिस्टर कृष्णा प्लीज आपके सॉन्ग्स हमको बहुत डिस्टर्ब कर रहे हैं मिस्टर कृष्णा Sorry, Dr. Kishore. You can go on.
That's fine, ma'am.
Yeah, please carry on.
Yeah. There are different stakeholders in a library. They are librarians or information scientists, archivists. Then insurance officers. Insurance officers means now a lot of libraries are having their at the institutional level covering insurances. Then heritage organizations, disaster recovery agencies, book preservation experts, fire service officials, security officials, earthquake engineers, expert, architect, and a lot more things. And at the end of the day, the stakeholders and the public in general, because library is open to almost all. I'll give you my personal example. We are having a Prashant Chandra Mahalavish Memorial Museum and Archives, which is stored in a very old building of Professor Prashant Chandra Mahalavish. And last year we had both water leakage and there are some certain portion of the building collapsed, and it took us almost 1 year to understand, because we wanted to restore it as exactly how the building was 88 years ago. We wanted to keep it. No, we could not find no proper expert for that. With those who know minutely understand the designing the kinds of concept that were used in 88 years ago. It took us almost 3 to 4 months finding out a proper architect and civil engineer who can go minutely into the things and restore the building without hampering further more, so that it can be restored. So we have shifted now entire museum and archives to the library, where right now to the library, and the building has been put under renovation under special care. Why this is important? Because why this disaster management is important to the libraries? Because libraries act as enabling forces for learning. A library provides an environment which foster creativity. This is a center for creation and recreation of academic activities. It promotes dissemination of research. It enables networking between different researchers. And almost all, when Bill Clinton was right when he told that this is a bridge, library is a bridge to the 21st century. And moreover, it is the repository for the culture and society. So, having said this, that reflects the importance of the library in a society. Therefore, the disaster management in libraries become much more important than any other institutions. Because if you are losing a library, you are losing a whole sort of culture and civilization and society, because it keeps the record of your own history. So disaster management in terms of library is a set of written procedure prepared in advance by the library staff to deal with an occurrence that is potential to cause damage to the equipments, collections, facilities in longer term. Therefore, the library and cultural institutions must be prepared for disasters, and whether it is natural or man-made, that may occur in course of time. If you don't do a disaster management in the library, the cost of not being prepared in disaster plan may lead to loss of life, loss of cultural materials, or ultimately loss for an institution. The objectives of disaster planning in the library context can be to protect the library materials, an effective and efficient response to the disaster can achieve good disaster planning strategy. to prevent potential disasters, to minimize the impact, to generate confidence among various stakeholders, that including library staff, users, and other stakeholders in general. When we are talking about disaster planning, you can find out there are some good books by Guy Robertson, which gives disaster planning in a very sequential manner. Primarily, the disaster planning in a library can be categorized into four things: disaster preparedness and prevention, disaster response, disaster recovery, disaster follow-up planning, and update. Every library has to have a disaster plan, which consists of several independent and interrelated smaller plans that can be in three phases: before, during, or after phase. In the before phase, the which corresponds to a routine two types of plan which could be in operation. Number one is preventive and preparedness. Preventive plans recommends action that will prevent most disasters. They include recommendations such as repair of leaking of roofs, or improvement or maintenance, improvement of maintenance, and the upgradation of security. Preparedness plans are designed to ensure that no identified disaster can be managed. The recommended actions such as identification of important items in the collections, that which are the items which need to be preserved on the top priority list, which are the things can be given least priority. Then, of course, the training of the staff to enable them to respond to the variety of disaster. In case of a fire occurs, what they can do. In our case, in case of ISI library, every quarterly we have a fire disaster prevention mock drill. So we train our staffs how to use fire extinguishers, where to use, and what kind of fire extinguisher will be used in what case scenario. So that goes on. This is a regular phenomena that we do it in collaboration with our security agencies, who is looking after the fire extinguishers and all those things. And in the during phase, a response to the disaster must be made. The effectiveness of the response is governed by thoroughness of the preparedness plan. Coming to the after phase, or the recovery plans are implemented. Due to the unique nature of every disaster, recovery plans can never be formulated in details, because a disaster won't come giving with a warning. So every recovery plan has to be different depending upon the what kind of disaster it is and what kind of damage that has been. That consideration is given to all the areas they are to be taken care of during the disaster. These are mainly staff, users, or visitors. The collections, you have different kind of collections, so different kind of collections require different kind of altogether treatment to that. Then building and equipment. The basic element of preparing a plan is conducting a risk analysis for the library. What kind of risk is there? What is the location? Whether if it's a coastal area, so cyclones are more prone to that. So how we are going to address it? Whether the windows are properly fixed, whether water is in a position to come inside the library. So this include all those kind of things. Whether if you are in a earthquake prone zone, so whether your building is earthquake proof or not. Then identification of existing preventive preparedness procedures, whether you have anything in the written, any evacuation plan that in case of a disaster happens. So if, whether that is ready or not. If not ready, the librarian has to take the initiative to prepare things. Then making recommendations to implement additional preventive preparedness procedures. When you do a kind of mock drill in a regular basis, you will able to understand if if I wanted to, in a case of a fire, my users wanted to use the emergency plan, whether emergency door has been is locked, and where to find out the key for that, because in library you cannot keep the doors open, so it has to be locked. The emergency door has to be locked. So then you have to find out whether nearby in the glass box the key is available or not. So those kind of things we have to find out the lacunas, and you have to give recommendations and include it in the disaster plan. Then allocating responsibility in a case of disaster, who is going to do what? If it's a library with full of students, if a hazard occurs, then who is going to tell students where to go, how to evacuate, then how to save some of the important resources, or devising procedure to respond and recover from the disaster. From the past, we have learned some of the things. I have already discussed those things. Some of the major things are: be prepared. Preparedness and mitigation is bound to yield more effective returns than distributing relief and during a disaster. Create a culture of preparedness and prevention. Evolve a code of conduct for all stakeholders.